Whoa, stop the presses. Okay, I've been working on multiple other videos, and don't worry, if you're here for Secret of Bone Hill stuff or my new Mastering the Game series, those videos, they're still coming, and I'm probably going to be releasing 2 videos a week for the next several weeks to get all that content out as fast as I can. In the meantime, though, there was something I really wanted to address, and it's something Matt Coville read yesterday. Well, I saw it yesterday. I think he read it on a live stream on Saturday. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I have anywhere near the reach that Matt has. Obviously, his channel is huge compared to my little channel. However, he originally talked about this on Twitch and then again in a 2-hour-long YouTube stream, which we know that most people don't watch all the way to the end of a 2-hour video. So I wanted to draw extra attention to this because I think it is profound, especially in light of all the WotC drama and all the complaining and fighting that's been going on in the RPG community. So let's just get to Matt.
It's Clint Bigglestone. Is that not a 70s D&D role-playing and how to do it? And this thing rocked. It rocked the player base in 1978 or whatever this came out, 1979. And this is at a time when people were fumbling with, trying to wrap their head around, trying to grasp, what is this hobby we have created and how do you do it? And how do you do it better than somebody else? And it was like a major crisis. And there's a reason for it. There's a reason why the initial hobby, and even still today, was so fragmented. But this dude is writing an article about how to roleplay, how to do it. How to do it. Now that this whole category of game has existed for 5 years, what have we learned? How can we synthesize everything we've learned and put it into one essay? Playing somebody who's not you. Breaking out of that, what they called ego tripping, power gaming. I want to play me, except more powerful, right? It's like, no, play somebody else. As you get comfortable with the fact that you could play somebody else, somebody who's not you, somebody that's not like you at all. And then he drops this bombshell. Let's face it, 2 individuals of the same gender from 2 different cultures often have more in common with each other than 2 individuals of the same culture but different genders. Now, that's not a universal truth, but on a case-by-case basis, it can absolutely be true. When you take this step, and it's a big one, don't go it alone. Talk to your spouse, lover, sibling, parent, friend about what it's like to be of their sex. This is 1979. I think there's about 30,000 people on Twitter that need to hear this. Ask how they react to the common situations, remarks, conflicts. Find out what are those common circumstances for them. For those who are straight or gay, take the same step. For those who are straight or gay, take the same step in regards to communicating with your gay and or straight friends and relatives. That way, not only do you get to know how to play your character, you also get to spend a little time, a few steps maybe, in another person's shoes. Right? He's saying literally go talk, say, ask, this is philosophy 101. Ask, what's it like to be a girl? And you'd be surprised at what a stupid question that is. You'd be surprised, like, what's it like to be gay? You'd be surprised at what just a dumb question that is. Until it's not. Right? And I've done this. People are like, what do you mean, what's it like? It's like, I eat, I get hungry, I sleep. It's dumb. It's a dumb question. But then you talk, and it's like for example I use is like, you don't need to know, this is very personal to me, you don't need to know that many women that well before all of a sudden they start telling you the most harrowing shit. And I'm like, holy fuck, that happened to you? Like, what do you mean it happened to me? It happened to me all the time. It happened to me on the way here. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, hold on. The metaphorical hat on my head goes and flips over, right? So yeah, it starts off as being, that's ridiculous. What do you mean, was it like? But then when you dig, you discover, oh, this person is having a very different experience in this society than I am, right? And absolutely, that's part of the fun of role-playing, is playing somebody who's not you. You already play you 24 hours a day. There's a great line in a Terry Pratchett book where Granny Weatherwax is like to Nanny Ogg, her best friend. She's like, you don't know what it's like being me, and you never will. There's a universal truth, and it cannot be missed. It's obvious. It's axiomatic. You do not know what it's like to be me. And Nanny Ogg says, no, and I never will. But looking in your eyes right now, I feel like I might sort of get a glimpse of it. Right. And that is such an important point, is that, no, you're right. I do not know what it's like to be Natalie. I don't know what it's actually like, but I have gotten a read on it. I have learned a lot. I have some experience of it. I can smell it. I know what it tastes like. I have not walked a mile in that person's shoes. I do not literally know what it is like to be them, but I am a human being, and therefore nothing human can be truly alien to me. And that's that contradiction, that I cannot know what it's like to be somebody else, but yet I sort of feel like I do know what it was like to be this person or that person because of that friendship and that connection that goes beyond language, that gets into that, whatever you want to call it, that part of being a human being that we all understand, but none of us can really talk. We can understand it, we can know it, but we can't really talk about it. Language is an imperfect tool and won't do it.
1979, Mr. Bigglestone recognized something back then that people even today really don't get. That two individuals of the same culture but different genders often have less in common than two individuals from the same gender but a different culture. That there's a significant difference between how different genders experience life. Likewise, as the article continued to point out, the difference between a straight person or a gay person. The idea that we don't know what it's like to walk a mile in another person's shoes. But then to extrapolate those points to role-playing games, where we understand that our hobby gives us an opportunity to maybe not walk a mile, but walk a few steps in somebody else's shoes to better understand their world. So we can use our fantasy worlds, our pretend, our creations, our characters that we make at a table. If we don't just make, extensions of ourselves, the power gamed version of me, if I don't just make another character who's just like me, I can use the game as an opportunity to better understand the world I live in and make me a more empathetic individual. So I encourage you to not let Wizards of the Coast's recent screw-ups undermine the hobby by taking that anger out on each other. It's okay to be angry at Wizards of the Coast. It's okay to be angry at how that impacts people we care about, other content creators that we follow, or how that impacts third-party creators that we enjoy, purchasing their products. But that doesn't mean that it's okay to beat each other up in the comment sections of a YouTube channel or a Reddit thread or some Facebook group. Don't take your anger out at WotC on other people just because they don't see the situation the same way you do. Likewise, don't let real-world culture wars infiltrate our hobby in such a way that we're turning against each other and abusing each other with our words. That does not support what's great about this hobby. What's great about the hobby is understanding and exploring and trying new things, and out of that exploration, becoming a more empathetic and understanding individual. That's what's beautiful about this hobby. As a therapist, I've spent decades treating trauma survivors, and I can tell you, there are things combat vets have been through that civilians will absolutely never understand. And there are things that sexual assault survivors have been through that most men are never going to understand. And I say most men are never going to understand because too many women have survived it, and therefore there are a lot more women who understand the struggle of those things. So there is a reality that you cannot ever fully understand what another person has been through. However, like Matt says, by role-playing in a role-playing game, by trying on a different pair of shoes, a different outfit, a different gender, a different style of personality, you can build your skills to maybe walk a few steps, not a mile, but a few steps in their shoes. And in doing so, you can learn empathy and have a better understanding of humanity because of the power in these games that we play. And it's so much better to use that power and explore that power and put your energy and effort into those things than it is to bicker and fight about edition wars or Wizards of the Coast or any other extraneous BS that leaks into our hobby. By all means, stay informed about the industry. Stay informed about what Wizards of the Coast is doing. Stay informed about the Ennies and how Shadowdark just swept so many awards. And be aware of what is good and great in this hobby, and make informed decisions and vote with your wallet and support the creators and support the companies that you appreciate and that you enjoy. By all means, stay informed, but don't use that information to beat up others who might not have the same approach to you, who might not play the same games as you. That's not what this hobby is about. This hobby is about understanding and growing and learning and expanding our value with each other, not trying to devalue each other.
I am a human being, and therefore nothing human can be truly alien to me.
Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Dire Den.